Today, let's take a quick updated look at the U.S. Senator approval ratings for the fourth quarter. So here we are on good old Morning Consult. And let's scroll down here just a bit. Before we get to the map underneath, it says this was conducted July through September. Now, I think it also said the same thing in the last video I did in October. So I think this should actually be October through December. But Morning Consult is known to have some mistakes, especially in the previous video. But here we've got the map. Green is good. Anything in red is going to be bad. There's not much of it. The darker the shade, the stronger the approval. There's really only 5 states that are even close to red. We've got Kentucky, -3, Wisconsin, -2, Iowa is just +2. Nebraska is even at 0, and Alaska is the worst. They're at -8. Could be bad news for Dan Sullivan running for re-election. So let's get down here. We've got the key takeaways. Bernie Sanders is the most popular senator, 68% approval rating. The second most popular is their other senator, Peter Welch, who's at 66. We've seen this time and time again. Usually the smaller states are capable of having a lot of approval rating for their senators. And Sanders has been at the top in almost every video I've done. On the other end, we've got Mitch McConnell. He's the most unpopular senator for 19 consecutive quarters. That's a 63% disapproval. And what about another vulnerable senator, Susan Collins? Well, she recovers from her record low. We've got roughly 2 in 5 Maine voters approve of Collins' performance ahead of her re-election this year. Then we've got everybody's favorite. It's John Fetterman. His approval rating is at 51%. That's higher than it was when Trump took office. But of course, Democrats, not a big fan of him. Republicans, their approval rating goes from 27 up to 59. The Dems are close to even at just 48%. So Fetterman is probably the most interesting senator. He's carved out a unique path. He seemed like a progressive coming in, but then he's been kind of friendly to the Trump administration. Not on everything, but on a few things. So Republicans liking him a lot more, Dems not so much. Now here we've got the top 12. After Sanders and Welch, we've got Warren, Schatz, Jack Reed, Ed Markey. Then the first Republican is John Barrasso in Wyoming. Then it's Hirono Kennedy, Lummis, Murray, and Angus King in Maine. All of them at least 57% approve. And it's also notable here that Bernie Sanders, only 3% are not sure. What about on the other end? Most unpopular. Well, after McConnell, it is Susan Collins, then Dan Sullivan in Alaska. He's clearly underwater by 8%. Then we've got Ron Johnson, Lisa Murkowski, Ernst, Graham, Ricketts, Fisher, Cruz, and Tim Sheehy in Montana. Although Sheehy is still above water by 8 points. So it all depends on how you want to look at their popularity, but there are a few on here that are on shaky ground. Next, let's go down here and take a look at John Fetterman. And although his approval rating has had a lot of movement behind the scenes with the two different parties, overall it's been fairly stable here, 53 to 25, and now it's 53 to 25. Nothing's changed. It's going to be great to see what happens if Fetterman runs for re-election, if he gets a primary challenge, what he does in a general election, how much Republican support does he get. But you could also come up here and do the same thing for any other senator you'd like. So that kind of wraps it up for this poll. More populous states have a smaller margin of error. The lower population states have a higher margin. And again, I'm not sure why they have July through September on here when clearly this is from the fourth quarter of 25. And the governors are not on here. Maybe we'll do that in a different video. So always take a look at multiple sources if you can. But for now, this is the updated Morning Consult U.S. Senator approval ratings. So let me know in the comments. What stands out to you with any of these senators? How about Susan Collins, Dan Sullivan, or John Fetterman? What do their numbers tell you about their vulnerability in the next election? Let me know how your senators are doing down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.